Good morning, guys. Kevin Smock with Smock Knives. How's it going? Today's a big day at Smock Knives. The shop is on all disarray. Everything's pushed over. Got a big package showing up today. Big package. 1,000-pound package. I am stressed out. I've got a short driveway, but it's gravel, curbside delivery. I don't know how I'm going to get this thing in the shop, but hopefully with some help from family and friends, we'll be able to get it in. I'll keep you posted on what's actually showing up. Just keep watching. While we're waiting for the delivery guy to show up, here's an SK23 I just finished. I don't have my lighting set up and stuff for this video because the shop's a mess, obviously, but SK23 Timascus front scale, anodized titanium back scale, blue and bronze anodizing, acid stonewash blade. So this customer's been waiting a really long time, like some of you are, and I do apologize for that, but hopefully it's worth the wait when you get it. And I'm hoping that this package today is going to help alleviate some of those wait times. That's the whole point. So in the meantime, I'm going to drink my coffee. The shop's down. I really can't do any work today, or at least not right now, until this shows up. I get it in place, and then I should be able to move stuff back, maybe get back to work later on today or tomorrow at the latest. So stick around, keep watching. So I wanted to talk a little bit on why I'm getting the package that's showing up, and obviously I'm gonna roll some footage in, and you can see by the box and whatnot that I ordered a Tormach. Ordered a Tormach 770M, and I know some people are going to say, why'd you order a Tormach? They're not meant for production, or, you know, you should have got a Haas. Well, I can't afford a Haas, so luckily with the collaboration knife, the Spyderco Smock, the little bit of money that I'm going to make from that, I'm going to be able to pay for the CNC, which was kind of my hope and the goal from the get-go of doing the Spyderco Smock. It wasn't like to be popular or anything like that. I wanted to be able to get a affordable knife in some of your guys' hands that can't afford one of my customs. And I was hoping that the little bit of funds that would come in from that could help me pay for a CNC, and that's what we're doing. So we ordered a CNC, and showing up today. And again, we all know, or at least guys that have looked into it, Tormachs are great. You know, they're labeled as hobbyist machines. But for a guy that's, you know, if you can't afford a Haas, and I still think it's a great option. I'm not looking for it to do crazy and wild stuff. I really want it for doing the holes, the countersinking in the handles, you know, the stuff that, not that it doesn't take any talent, but it's kind of the grunt work. You know, you're just drilling holes, you're countersinking, but it's all still important stuff. It has to be accurate. I've tried getting help in the past, and that didn't work out. I've even tried contacting some local CNC companies to just, you know, to do a batch of holes for me, countersinking, so that they're all parallel, so that when I put a knife together, the blade's not off center. and I have been jerked around by more CNC companies than I even want to admit. You know, I have small runs, 50 pieces. Nobody wants to do 50 pieces. They want to do 5,000. Or because it's a low number, they're going to charge you 3 times what their normal rate is. So it's just not worth it. Plus, they drag you along for months and months and months, and then they tell you, that they're not going to do it because they don't have time because they got some other big order. So I'm tired of trying to find other ways of getting help. A CNC in my shop that can be running and doing holes and countersinking while I'm grinding blades is a huge help. So that's the goal. Also, I want to try and do, probably the first thing I'm going to do with it is like some bottle openers, oddball stuff, just to practice with it to get the feel of it. It's not something that I'm going to make 100 bottle openers, but I might make like 20 or something, just to get the feel for it before I go off and start breaking bits and ruining knife handles. Luckily, previously, years ago, I did run a wood CNC for a company for a little while. So I got a general idea of how a CNC works. I've done CAM software. Every knife that I do and design is in 3D AutoCAD Inventor. So all the parts are already in Inventor. I know how to use that. There's actually a HSM patch free that you can put into Inventor. Granted, it's only a 2.5 axis, but it's right in Inventor. So I can just take my parts and do some CAM software right in Inventor. So I'm hoping that my learning curve isn't going to be that bad. Plus, I've been getting a lot of help from other knife makers. Mike Ecom, thank you, dude. He's been a huge help of, what do I need? What am I going to do? What parts, what bits, all that kind of stuff. He's been a huge help. So thank you, Mike. I greatly appreciate it. So hopefully with help from other knife makers and the knowledge that I already have with Inventor and some CAM software, I'm hoping that I can get this thing up and running and making parts soon. Because really the goal is to get caught up on the books. I'm also kind of hoping that with the Spyderco Smock that maybe I can have it milling handles and be able to offer you guys aftermarket handles for the Spyderco Smock. Right now I've taken some orders for custom handles. I'm probably at max capacity. I don't want to take any more. But every one of those is going to need to be done by hand. So that pretty much means, drilling them on the drill press or the mill. And I need the knife to be able to contour the handles to fit that particular knife. So they're all going to be done by hand, which is a very slow process. But if I can get the handle scales dialed in on the CNC, then maybe I can do batches of titanium aftermarket handles and sell them to you guys at maybe even a discount of what my hand done scales would be, because if the machine's doing most of it, I probably don't need to charge as much because it's not as much labor. So hopefully that, fingers crossed. I got the 770M because it's right in the middle. It's what I could afford. The 440, I don't think it's got the horsepower that I need, and the 1100 I think is kind of overkill, and I don't think the spindle goes as fast for the small bits that I'll be using. So I think the 770M is probably a good choice. I do hear that they're coming out with servo motors instead of stepping motors, so that's an upgrade you can get later on down the road, and I'll have to look into that because I know a lot of people have said if you're going to get one, try and get the servo motors and not the stepper motors. But we'll see. So hopefully showing up today, half of it showing up today. They shipping it from two separate warehouse locations. Today's delivery is going to be the stand and the actual machine, and then the rest of the stuff. I got the powered drawbar and the automatic tool changer Because if you don't get the automatic tool changer, you're going to have to stand there and babysit it. And I plan on standing there and babysitting it for the first while. But once you get your recipes worked out and everything's running smooth, you're not going to want to stand there and do tool changes. That's kind of defeating the purpose of getting the machine. I want to be able to hit run and have it be making some parts while I'm grinding or anodizing or whatever. So hopefully that works out. It better. And I know down the road that maybe, you know, once I can get caught up on my books and things are running smoothly, and if the Tormach isn't pulling its weight anymore after a while, then maybe down the road I'll look at getting a Haas. But for now, I think at least for the next couple of years, it will serve me well. At least that's the hope. And I kind of want to do some videos of posting videos of the machine running and me making parts. So that might be like a new series that I start. Not sponsored by Tormach or anything. It's just going to be me doing my own thing and hopefully showing you guys what's going on. And I greatly appreciate everything, guys. I mean, this isn't just like, oh, so he was able to purchase a cool new toy for his shop. This is the difference between, you know, me making 5 knives a month and me making 20 knives a month, or at least that's the hope. And in that, it's literally helping to pay the bills here and helping my family out. You know, it's literally putting food on the table. So, you know, when you purchase a Spyderco smock or anything else, any of my knives, you know, it's not going to some. I'm not buying a yacht. You know, it's not like that. You're literally helping pay the bills and put food on the table, and I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, so let's see how it goes. Hopefully do some more footage and keep talking. And by the way, this is going to be a long talking video. This isn't going to be like, how do you set up your Tormach? So I know I get comments every once in a while, dude, shut up, you talk too much. Well, I do that because I am talking to what I hope are my knife followers and guys I've met at Blade Show and this and that are interested in what's going on here. A lot of my videos are, that's what it targets. You know, if you just show up here looking for a Tormach video and you don't want to hear some guy talking, not the video for you. Sorry. So one other thing I wanted to talk about is how will the CNC maybe change my view from knife collectors. So there's always that big discussion, you know, if you're not hand forging blades, you're not a real knife maker. Or if you're getting things water jet cut, you're not a real knife maker. If you're getting things CNC'd, you're not a real knife maker. I'm sorry, my viewpoint is if you can make a sharp knife, you're a knife maker. That's just my view. And I know some of you guys aren't going to agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But my viewpoint of it is you need to stay true to yourself. Everybody comes at knife making from a different background. You know, whether you're an electrician or you're a welder or you're a computer guy. You know, you're a designer. You know, you need to stay true to yourself. Me, my background, I used to work for Craft Made Cabinetry. Worked for them for 15 years. I did 10 years on the shop floor in manufacturing. Shortly after I got hired, I was actually a machine operator. So that side of my background is I've worked in a factory setting, did everything in batches and workflow and all that kind of stuff and running machinery. That was the first 10 years. And then after that, I got hired into product designer. So I was innovation product designer. So a lot of that entailed doing designing hardware, lighting, electrical stuff, kitchen cabinet doors, handles, all that kind of stuff. Like if you go into any Lowe's or Home Depot right now and you go look at the craft made stuff, a lot of the doors and the finishes in their displays, I designed those. Actually, a lot of the the full displays that they have set up, at least at my local ones, are door designs that I'm listed as the inventor on the patents. So it's pretty cool. And a lot of that was also trending and finished development and all that kind of stuff. 3D product design, doing everything in AutoCAD Inventor. Like I said, I ran a wood CNC for another company a little while after that, did some CAM software. So my background is innovation, trending, finished development, manufacturing, 3D product design, a little bit of CNC stuff, a little bit of CAM stuff. That's my background. So my background isn't like welding and that kind of stuff. I am too old and not in shape enough to be swinging a hammer every day. That's just not me, and I want to stay true to myself. So part of that is my goal from the beginning has always been wanting to get a CNC. It's not that I don't want to do the labor. It's the fact that that's what I think I'm going to excel at. That's where I can really get creative and do some really cool stuff, because the manual mill works for doing a lot of things, but you can't do, at least I can't, do really fancy stuff on that little tiny grizzly manual mill. You know, I can't do fancy patterns. So I'm hoping with the CNC that will open up what I'm capable of doing, because I've got a whole bunch of designs and ideas, and I just can't do them, which really sucks. So, you know, that whole topic of you know, whether a knife maker uses a CNC or whatever, I don't plan on, at least right now, I don't plan on having the CNC do everything. I still want to do a lot of the handwork. That's where I think that you can excel, or at least I can. So mainly I want it doing the holes, and I'm not even going to have it tapping. I've got a Tapmatic that works perfectly fine. So I'll have the CNC do the holes, and then I'll manually come over here and tap all the holes. So it's just going to be a mixture. Whatever's quicker, whatever's more convenient, whatever I think is going to make the best finished outcome. That's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. So for any of you guys that, and it's your money, you can do whatever you want. So if you're a strict believer that if it's not hand forged, you're not going to spend your money on it, that's perfectly acceptable. I completely understand. But for me, I want to stay true to myself, and being able to do things in 3D AutoCAD, and coming out and being able to put that information into the computer and have it start cutting parts is awesome. It's a dream come true. I love the idea, and I think this is only going to help me get better, get faster, and hopefully be able to bring you guys stuff quicker and better. That's kind of the whole point. So haven't got a phone call from the moving company yet. They're supposed to call me an hour in advance, but I'm going to finish getting the rest of the shop set up and stuff moved and out of the way to hopefully get this rolled in the door with no complications. Alright, hold on, guys. Alright, day 2. So we got the machine in, got the box off yesterday. This is day 2, and not going to be able to do too much today. The package is going to arrive in 2 separate shipments. The first shipment was the 770 machine itself. It was the stand, which I've got to work on today to get it assembled and in place. The chip tray is still in the box, which I'll get that out today. And there's the flood coolant reservoir that goes in the bottom of the stand here. I also picked up the other day one of these. I got it at Harbor Freight. It was actually an open box unit that had a dent on the back that was minuscule, and I got like $60 off of it from the regular price, so I couldn't pass that up. And I love green, you know, green's like in my logo and everything, so I figured it would make a great tool cabinet for by the CNC. Something I could wheel out of the way, something I could store, you know, all my stuff in. And these drawers actually have little locks on them. Oh, it won't open without the... So this opens up. Got my last big logo in there. I need to get a Spyderco logo. But I can put stuff in here that I use all the time. And then in the drawers, they lock. And I can put all my dial indicators and whatever else I need. Should work out pretty good. I mean, for a Harbor Freight unit, this is actually pretty nice, pretty sturdy. I'm surprised. Yeah, so today I'm going to work on putting this together, and this isn't really going to be like an assembly video or anything. I just kind of wanted to show you guys what was going on. And if you've seen in the time-lapse video, if that came out okay, we pretty much, you know, nobody ever shows moving, you know, tailgate service, curbside delivery, and then you've got a gravel driveway to go through to get to your garage. We had to put plywood down, so I don't know if it was like 1-inch plywood or 3/4 inch, and then we had to rent a pallet jack and leapfrog the, you know, because we didn't want to buy 8 sheets of plywood, we just bought 2 and leapfrogged them, and it worked pretty good. It was, you know, if you look at the video, it looks way easier than it actually was, but it didn't. It went pretty smooth. So I'm happy with that. A couple other things I got. I got the steel clamping kit. Ultra compact PC kit. So I guess, you know, is this the computer? I know they used to give a full-size big computer. Oh, this must be the computer. That's really small. And I got a waterproof mouse and my owner's kit, which that's going to be the main thing today, is reading and going through that, making sure I'm doing the setup right, get the stand on there, get that out. And then I do not know where the rest of the parts are at. Supposedly they're going to be in another shipment. I know the power drawbar was on back order, so I don't know if it got restocked before the end of last week, and if I'm going to get my rest of my stuff next week. But I don't even have the lift kit. Didn't come, so I can't even put this on the stand until I get the next shipment. So pretty much just going to set it up, do some reading, and then try and get back to work on knives as best I can, and keep rolling. Good morning, guys. So day 2. If you can't tell, I've been sick, so haven't been feeling too hot. I'm all stuffy, so I'm not going to do a lot of talking in this part of the video, which I'm sure some of you will appreciate. But I got the machine, the stand, the drip tray, and a couple other little parts and pieces the other day. Set the stand up, got it level, which was a little bit of a chore, but the stand's level, and the rest of the components are showing up today. The first batch came a local delivery service on an 18-wheeler, and then the rest of the stuff is coming today, UPS freight on an 18-wheeler. So they're just going to drop it off, I'm assuming, at the end of the driveway. I shouldn't have to do the whole pallet jack thing, because nothing on there in itself weighs a ton. I think the heaviest thing is the enclosure, but it's in a box, so I'm assuming that I can take it apart and carry it in pieces. I don't want to have to worry about that. But my dad he's coming over, and he's going to stop and pick up an engine. He's going to rent an engine lift. I got the second shipment the other day Got some help from my parents, thank you very much. Rented a engine lift and was able to get this thing on the stand, which was a big deal. That took quite a bit of back and forth, trying to get it aligned and get it on there. But we got it on there. I'm still missing 4 things that are back ordered. The keyboard, one of my dial indicator things, which really isn't all that important at this point, the power drawbar, and the oiler. So unfortunately, I can't get the machine up and running to do some of the adjustments and setup because I don't have the oiler and I don't have the keyboard and I don't have the power drawbar. So I got the ATC mounted on here. Nothing's attached. It's just loosely mounted on the side. I figured I could do that because this thing was taking up a bunch of countertop space. So I wanted to get it out of my way. I got it mounted on there. Again, I still got to wait for the power drawbar. Thanks for watching. I know it wasn't very informative, but I just kind of wanted to film it. You know, this is a very exciting thing for me. I've been wanting a CNC for 4 or 5 years, ever since I started doing this. This is the route that I wanted to eventually go. And, you know, thanks to Spyderco, thanks to some local buddies around here, thanks to everybody that's purchased a Spyderco smock. You know, that's how I'm paying for this. So greatly appreciate it. And stay tuned. Should have some cool stuff. I've got designs that are more complicated than I can do in a manual mill that I just haven't been able to do. Because one, I got to get caught up on current orders, which this will help with. And then it will also help with the new designs that I have that are just not possible in the manual mill. So hopefully there'll be some cool stuff coming out in the next year or two. Somewhere in that range. So thanks guys. Thanks for subscribing. Greatly appreciate it. And you guys have a good week. Thanks.